Viewers, it's Michael from Screen Reviews, bringing you a new podcast from my typical The Super Sentai Review. And like always, I must speak very loudly, very clearly, and very slowly, in case you don't understand me. Also, I try to do my best not to break your heart during this audio podcast recording as well, not to cause any audio feedback as well. And finally, if you're under 18, this audio podcast recording will contain certain adult language. Once again, if you're under 18, this audio podcast recording will have certain adult language if you're under 18. Now, if you're over 18, then you need to go to watch this audio podcast recording. So anyway, with this and everything else out the way, let's get into the latest episode of King-Ohger. So basically, the episode starts off, we see Wackless marrying Kagura's sister, Suzuma. Turns out that so basically, from the previous episode, Garen had challenged Reckless to a trial by combat to see who's going to be, to be ruler of the Sugar Nation. So basically, Garen handed himself over. Apparently, Garen handed himself over to Rita, in her custody back in her nation until the trial, and Kakaraga was able to convince Given to surrender the crown to him, and he gave it to Wackless back. Once once the trial started, once the trial by combat started, but Kakaraga, always scheming, managed to convince Given to get him the crown, the King-Ohger crown, and he used it to be as a bargaining chip along with his sister to get back into Wackless' good graces, and therefore he ended up, Wackless ended up marrying, marrying Suzuma, Kagura's sister. So basically, after this, Kagura, oh, this is a joyous occasion, my brother-in-law, put on this good, always put on his, put on his act and all, and and Rocket is it's good to us, but there's one thing that I want to know. Do you know where the Ohsama Land is? I don't know where the Ohsama Land is. So basically, it turns out that Kaguraga also got given to hand over the Ohsama Land, but he's keeping the Ohsama Land back in his country. So basically, Kaguraga is covering all his bets. So basically, he's not stupid, but he was not stupid to hand over the Ohsama Land with the Ohsama crown either. So anyway, so basically, if you do, I underestimate you, but if you do happen to have the Ohsama land, maybe I'll be more eternally grateful to you if you could, if you have it or where it's at, I'll be more eternally grateful to you if you somehow it's returned to me. So basically, Kaguraga Kaguraga wanted to make sure that make sure once the trial by combat starts, he didn't want they want the Ohsama Land to be used against Gillen, but it was more safer to give Reckless the Ohsama crown. He's gonna use that in combat. So anyway, it seems like so basically Hemo and Rama were worried about this tribal combat, even though that since now that Reckless has the Ohsama crown, Garen might be at a disadvantage, but they don't know that he has the doesn't know that he doesn't have the Ohsama Lance weapon either. So basically, the others are worried that Gilman might lose since Reckless has the Ohsama Crown back, but they don't know if he has the Ohsama Lance. He doesn't. They don't know if he has the Ohsama Lance. But Garen, back at Rita's Nation, Goki, Garen was holding the cell, and basically, Rita said that, that the trial combat was going to start soon. So basically, are you sure you can are you sure you can beat your brother this time? Because last time you didn't. You pretty much did. He pretty much marked the floor with you. And Garen being cocky, that don't worry, I will beat my brother. And everybody went around the Pirate King, blah blah blah, put on his best, his best brave act and whatnot, blah blah blah. So anyway, back at the Sugar and Castle, we see Boris, the fat servant, servant Ed who always carried the book, was talking to Reckless, and Reckless said, "Where's your fat ass been? I hadn't seen you since the bugler took over Sugar." So basically, why I should beat the hell out of you. So basically, yes, I regret that I was just like I regret I was hiding out when the bugler took over Sugar and whatnot. But I came back, unlike Douglas. I came back. At least I came back. I'll see Douglas, your king guard, anywhere. So anyway, basically, Wagner said, fine. Fine. So basically, if you want to get back in my good graces, I have a job for you. So basically, I believe that Kaguraga has the Ohsama Land. So basically, I want you to find out. I want you to find Kaguraga with the Ohsama Land and bring it to me during my and bring it to me. So basically, if you bring it to me, I will forget you to being a cowardly traitor. But if you don't, your ass is grass. So basically, he used his sword to cut off the button that was holding up, Boris Mon's pants and whatnot. And basically, Boris ran out like a little scared girl and did what Ragnar said, and find out if Kaguraga has the land and bring it to him. So anyway, meanwhile, somewhere else, at the bugler headquarters, we see Prime Minister Comican, talking to Defra and getting the hell beat out of him by Defra. He said that found out he found out information about the information about that Kaguraga might have the Ohsama Lands about the whole trial by combat, and he said that I can use this to take down not only Garen but also Reckless as well. So basically, and Defra said, I'm tired of your damn schemes. Your schemes have not been turned in. It has not really been it for us lately. So basically, this scheme you've been cooking up better be this current scheme that you got cooking better work this time, or else I'm beating the crap out of you. So basically, Comican is it's pretty much in a hard place like Boris is right now. So anyway, basically, Jeremy and Kaguraga was having a little conversation about the Ohsama Lands, was having a conversation about the Ohsama Lands, and Kaguraga said, I have an idea. I need your help, Jeremy, to make sure that this idea to help me out with my plan for the Ohsama Lands. So anyway, the duel was starting to begin, and basically Rita was being witnessed, and the fight was being broadcast throughout Sugar. And basically, just like in their first duel, they state their turn. So basically, so basically, Gary said, "If I win, I want to be king of Chigarum," and Rackman said, "If I win, I want you. You're no longer a war. You're no longer. I want you in the cell for the rest of your life, and you're no longer and forfeit your rights to the front, and you be expunged from the royal family, from the Husky royal family." So basically, they both agreed to the terms and basically picked up their weapons and transformed, and basically, since Rakdos had the Ohsama land, had the Ohsama crown, he transformed into his golden form and basically started and used that golden form against Garen during battle. But Garen was holding his own against a golden power up Rakdos and whatnot. So anyway, meanwhile, we see Himo and Yama spotted Kaguraga with the Ohsama lands heading towards the battle, and basically I knew it that he was going to screw. I knew you was up to some scheme in Kaguraga, and turns out it was not Kaguraga, it was Tyranny who was running Kaguraga's road. He said, well, and basically the others were like Himo and Yama were like, what the hell is going on? What the hell are you doing with the up there? Well, things is not what it seems. And basically a bunch of Bugwar foot soldiers started to attack them. And basically, out of nowhere, we see Boris still with his pants, still with his pants hanging down, bump into Jeremy and got the Ohsama land from Jeremy, and he ran to the battlefield to get the Ohsama lands to Rakdos. So anyway, during the battle, Garen managed to get the upper hand against Rakdos. He's able to knock the crown off of Rakdos' head, and therefore force him to de-transform from his golden form. And basically, Garen was able to force him to demorph. And basically, seems like and he asked him, "Do you surrender?" And basically, and Garen, all the people who was against Garen started to cheer for Garen. Some were still cheering to Rakdos and whatnot. So basically, Garen was seems like Garen was going to ask Rakdos to surrender, but instead, I want to give you another chance, brother. I want to give you another chance, to be I know that you're still. I still believe that you're still that kind person that I remember back when I was a kid. So basically, I want to believe that there's still some good in you, brother. And Rakdos was like, you stupid idiot, you let your guard down. You showed me mercy. I'll never surrender to you. I will never surrender to you. The people, the nation of Sugar is mine alone. The people follow my lead. The people of Sugar are my servants. Nothing more and nothing less. So basically, that's when Rakdos saw his true colors, and basically all the people started to turn against Rakdos after hearing him speak like that. And basically, we see Boris finally showed up with the Ohsama lands and basically tried to looked like he was trying to take out Garen with it, and basically turns out that the Ohsama lands was a fake Ohsama lands that exploded, and turns out that Boris was actually with Prime Minister Commandant in the sky. So basically, turns out that It turns out that Colorado had a suspicion of that Boris was not the person he believed he was not. So basically, Colorado had a sneaky suspicion that Boris is not who he seems to be. Turns out that Collagen was posing as Boris, and basically, and Raptors was shocked about this, and like where's the real Boris? And commented, well, let's just say he's gone. He's permanently gone. So basically, Collagen summoned some sport chosen, and the rest of the way. So basically, Yama Himo, and Jeremy and Kaguraga took care of the foot soldiers along with Rita, and basically the duel went on, and basically with the Ohsama lands, Garen had the power of the Ohsama lands and the Ohsama crown, and he used it against him, and basically after Kaguraga gave him a speech, your brother has shown you he's not redeemable. So basically, as you need to do what you got to do. You need to do what you got to do. So basically, after hearing Kaguraga's speech, Garen did what he had to do and took down Whackers, and basically just like how Garen got pushed into that giant chasm. So basically, using the power of the Ohsama Lance crown weapon, he sent Whackers flying into that deep chasm, and therefore winning the battle, and basically, and now become king of Shigeru. So basically, the episode ended with with Rita confirming that that you're now the new king of Shigeru. So basically, and the episode ended with all the Rangers outside the castle, and Garen staring at the castle, and realized that he's now king of now he's the new king of Shigeru, and basically and finally realized that that he has now he's the new king of Shigeru now, and basically that's how the episode ended on this note. So anyway, this was a good episode. So basically, this was a very good episode. That's all I got to say. So anyway, what do you guys think about this episode? Please let me know in the comments below. Anyway, signing off. 1,